Hi there, I'm Jesse from Miro, and in this video, we're going to cover how Miro Flows can help you and your teams accelerate product development from start to finish, ensuring you're able to ship customer-centric products as quickly as possible. If you're not familiar with flows, Miro Flows give you the ability to chain together and templatize multi-step workflows directly in the canvas that are fully powered by AI, helping you and your team stay in the flow of work without ever having to leave the canvas. Let's take a look. Now, this all starts with a pre-built Miro template for actually accelerating product development. And everything that I'm going to show you today is fully adjustable and customizable, meaning that you can tweak things or build something specific for your ways of working. So take what we're going through today as just an example. But all that I have to do to use this template is hit Use Template, and it will instantly build out this workflow for us. Let's take a look. Great. And now that our flow has actually been built out for us using that template, I can see here that if I zoom in, this template is all about helping to accelerate product development by taking these 6 inputs and generating these 6 outputs, leveraging Miro Flows. If I zoom over here, you can actually see that I've pulled in these inputs already. I've used Miro Insights to pull in real customer insights. I have some competitive analysis, a PDF document that I've embedded, an embedded Google Sheet with regulatory considerations, some company branding. And I even used a Miro Flow to actually pull in company context from our knowledge bases, because I'm able to connect Miro Flows to company knowledge sources like Glean, Amazon Q, Gemini Enterprise, etc. And as you can see, I've started to connect those inputs to outputs. So if I just click this document, I can click the diamond connector and actually connect that to our table. And now if I zoom out, you can actually see that we have an 8-step flow that's been pre-built for us using Miro Flows. And each of these blank artifacts, you can see with flows, you have the ability to add on format prompting. So you can give it an input, task, steps. You can add the prompt that you want it to actually execute to fill in that artifact. And we actually give you the ability to choose any model of your choosing. So you can bring in your own AI, or you can use any specific model here. And you can change models from artifact to artifact, meaning that you can leverage the model that you want for each artifact. Again, you can connect flows to your company knowledge bases and even search the web with flows. And if we zoom out, you can see here that all that I need to do is hit run on this the first part of the flow. And instantly, it's going to kick off an 8-step workflow for us here. Now, let's let Miro Flows do its magic. And let's come back in just a second as this is executed. Great. So we can see that the first of 8 steps has now been completed, and Miro Flows took all of the input that we just gave it, and it came up with some potential opportunities for our product: enhanced security authentication system, personalized reward marketplace, and it's now using this table as the input for the next stage of our flow, where it's going to pick one of those opportunities and generate us a PRD. You can see it there happening in real time. It's selected the enhanced security authentication system, and now this generated PRD is going to be the input for our prototypes, our product logo, our technical requirements, our UML diagram, and eventually our leadership presentation. So let's come back when all of this has been built out in just a second. Great. And after about 60 to 90 seconds or so, everything has now been built out for us. If I zoom in here, you can see that our product requirements document's been completed. That PRD then generated us here a multi-screen, fully dynamic prototype that we can go in and preview. And again, everything is fully editable because it's being built in Miro. We have a second prototype that's slightly different, so we can evaluate different options quickly. We have a product logo that's been generated, some technical requirements documentation, a fully editable and dynamic UML sequence diagram for our mobile application, and a slide deck that's actually been built out for us, again, fully editable in our company branding for actually promoting this product to our leadership team. And one of my favorite things about Flows is that it actually allows you to collaborate as you're working with AI instead of doing this on your own in a point solution. Your team can come together and see the inputs that you use, the prompt that you leverage. They can iterate with you. They can adjust things. This really brings collaboration to how teams are using AI. In case you were wondering if it's possible to make adjustments mid-flow and see those changes reflected downstream, it totally is. Instead of being in an LLM where you have to scroll up in your chat to make changes somewhere in the middle or start a whole new conversation, Miro Flows gives you the ability to actually iterate mid-flow and see those changes reflected downstream. And for this example, I'm actually going to leverage a Miro Sidekick, which is a no-code AI agent that's actually trained to fit a specific persona who I can collaborate with on this project. Let's take a look. Great. You can now see that I have my financial services banking app reviewer sidekick that's been opened. And to create this, all that I had to do was give it a name, a description, some instructions, some conversation starters, and I actually trained it on the product requirements document that we just created. And now that I have this sidekick that's been trained, it can actually review all of the content and context that's on the canvas and give us suggestions or work with us on that. So here you can see that I've highlighted the prototype. I can see that one object is selected. I can then ask it to help me to ensure user friendliness and generate some sticky notes for me. I can then hit run, and the sidekick is then going to come look at the prototype based off of the persona that it's been trained on, and it's going to provide us with feedback in real time. Let's take a look. Great. So I can now see that the banking app reviewer sidekick has joined me on the canvas. It's giving me suggestions in terms of what's going well, what could be improved, and these sticky notes I can then continue to iterate on in the sidekick chat, or I can actually add them to the canvas and use them as feedback for downstream flows. So I can drag those into this prototype feedback place here. I'm also going to add some sticky notes myself, and then we can actually watch that feedback be incorporated into this prototype and then downstream. So let's take a look at that in action. Great. So now that I've added that feedback into the board, all that I need to go in here is actually hit run from this stage of the flow. And it's not going to change anything that's already been created before that. And instead, it's actually just going to kick off a 5-step flow where it's going to generate a new prototype for us, taking into consideration this feedback, a new logo, so on and so forth. So let's come back when this has been completed. Great. And after about 30 seconds, our 5-step flow has now been completed. And you can see here that Miro Flows was able to take the feedback, like changing the prototype background from black to white, and make that adjustment in real time, and then actually update the downstream flow, taking into consideration those changes. And so what you just saw is that with Miro Flows, you can also very easily iterate and edit on them, keeping the human in the loop across every step of the journey. Now, if we zoom back out, you can see that with just one click of a button, we are able to take rich company context from Miro Insights to tables to PDFs to embedded documentation and generate 6 powerful artifacts that help us to accelerate our product development lifecycle thanks to Miro Flows. And we could then pass all of this fantastic context off to our agentic coding tool of choice using Miro's MCP server to help us actually deliver this even faster. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this quick video. I hope it was a helpful overview of how Flows can help with product development. I would encourage you to give Flows a try for yourself or book a demo with a member of our team to see this in more detail. Thanks.